The Wrenshall School District is thinking out of the box for its youngest learners. Teachers there are creating outdoor classroom space in the school forest. You see, their plan is to educate kindergarten and first grade students outdoors as much as possible this fall. Joining us now to tell us about it is Suzy Berger, a kindergarten teacher in Wrenshall, and Anna George is also a Wrenshall kindergarten teacher. Welcome. Thank you both for being here. Suzy, how in the world did you come up with this idea, outdoor classrooms?
Well, they're not anything new, really. It's something that has been wanted to be done at our school for several years before I even started there, and had been okayed to go ahead and go out in the school forest,
Sure.
but just never got started. It's kind of an intimidating task to get going on, but this pandemic has kind of forced us to, like you said, think out of the box and try some new things.
Anna, was it hard to get you on board?
Oh, absolutely not. We had spent a lot of time out there already, just building forts and playing and doing some projects out there, but as far as having an actual space, that's new for us.
Yeah.
Actually
So the
getting out
two
there.
of you talk about getting space ready. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? I know we have some pictures.
Yeah, so we got into our school forest, which isn't too far from our space, and started clearing some areas. So the picture that you see there is where the kind of the preschool, kindergarten, first graders will get to play. And I enlisted my husband to help, so he built that table. There's a boat that a community member donated to us, which we turned into a sandbox, and there's some rock letters for the kids to just play with. Actually, those are numbers, I believe.
We all know that the weather here in the Northland can turn on a dime. If the weather is nice when school starts, a couple of days later it's very chilly. What are you going to do? What are your plans?
Well, that's one of the things we've asked for, because there are some families that don't have ability to get clothing that they would need. If it were to rain, there's no reason we can't go play in the rain. Everyone remembers being little and going outside and playing in the rain. It's super fun. So what we've done is asked community members for donations of kid-sized raincoats, rain boots, things like that. And then as far as winter, I mean, unless it's wind chill that's deemed unsafe, we will be out there playing.
Isn't that something? Are you getting some response then from parents and from families?
A little bit so far. I think, we're all a little overwhelmed with the school year starting,
Yeah.
so hopefully we will more, and, we'll reach out to parents, and if they don't have the clothing that they need, we will get it for them and we'll find it.
When does school start in Wrenshall?
In 2 weeks. The day after Labor Day is when the kids will start.
Okay, so will they start immediately outdoors?
I think we're planning on spending a majority of our day out there. It is a shortened school day, which will help with the disinfecting that we have to do. And but I think we're going to come up with a schedule where we can all have turns out there, and there will be things and days when we
Sure.
do need to be inside. But
Some of viewers might be asking this question, but I understand porta potties are being brought in and hand washing stations. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, well, that was one of the challenges that we knew we would have, because we're not real close to any bathrooms. And with kindergartners, you'd be having to run the whole class there every 3 minutes. So we asked our superintendent if we, could get some portables, and she said absolutely. So we will have several out there for all the different grade levels to use.
Was it hard to convince the powers that be to allow you to go ahead and try this?
fortunately, in our school board is very supportive of us, and they always ask teachers for their opinions and their input on things, which isn't the case in every district. So we're very blessed to have a superintendent and a school board that supports us and thinks of us as professionals.
Do you know yet how many kindergarten and first grade students you might have?
Yep, so we have 2 kindergarten classes this year. We don't always need 2 classes, so we each have 15 total students this year.
It's
Good.
kind of going back and forth until
Yeah.
school starts. It'll be around 32
Yeah.
kindergarten
Yeah.
students.
And we're starting with the hybrid model, so we'll only have half of our class
I see. Yeah.
at a time.
You kind of approached it a little bit, and I was going to ask you a question on that. What does the school board think of this plan?
Oh,
when you approach them, did they go, what?
No,
Oh.
they said yes, please,
Really?
because I think there's several board members who have been on the board since it was brought up in the past and wanting to do it, so they were more than happy for us to get
Yeah.
started on it and get going. And actually, that boat was donated by one of the school board members.
Oh,
so
how nice.
they're-
Are you modeling this after some other district? Do you know of any other school districts who've done outdoor education?
There are. Up the shore, there are actually some beautiful outdoor classrooms. We would love to go visit those, but really we're just
Yeah.
off the cuff doing what we wanted to and went out there and started clearing and making spaces that we like.
We've been taking some classes also online, several of us teachers, to learn
Yeah.
more in what we can do.
Will students have to wear masks outdoors and do social distancing there too?
We will try to keep them socially distanced as much as possible. With our young learners, that is difficult, but we will do the best we can. They are, I believe, still supposed to have a mask on, especially if they are still in close quarters.
Yeah, so if they're playing close to each other, they'll have to have their masks, but there'll be times when we can spread out if we're doing games and
Yeah.
things, and they can take a mask break for sure.
Some parents might be asking, gosh, this sounds exciting. Can we also visit the classroom? Would you allow parents to peek in?
Yes, as long as we have to make sure, of course, that everyone's safely distanced or
Yes.
wearing a mask, and they would have to probably call ahead to make sure that it's not a big group or something like
Right,
that, or there's
yeah,
not other
but-
people there.
That may not be out of the question, should they? So all this begins right away the first day of school, or will you stay indoors for a little while and then go out, or what are your plans?
No, I think we're going to get right out there. You know, in kindergarten especially, there's a lot of free play time throughout the day, and so I envision any time that we're doing free play, we'll be out there and for our lessons as much as we can, as long as the weather is cooperating for us.
What are you telling parents who might be going, say what?
The response has actually been really positive, and I think since we do live in a smaller area that has a lot of families that have grown up here, and it's a
Right.
farming community type of thing, so they want their kids outside, and they know how beneficial it is. So
When it
for
is
most-
the first day of school in Wrenshall, other than the students that you have outdoors, what will the first day of school look like in Wrenshall?
Boy,
a tough question this
yeah,
year.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
That's
we're
still
not
changing
even.
day by
Well,
day.
we start as a staff next week, and we'll be planning all of that out. But they'll be coming in and going to their classrooms. Again, we're hybrid, so it'll only be
Yeah.
half of each class. But we'll still follow throughout the day, and
It'll be
have
very
lunch.
different
Yes.
this year, and so we'll see. Some of it's going to be a learning process for even us as staff.
Well, if you want to go back 70 years, I wish I had you for my kindergarten teachers.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you both very much for being here and telling your story. Thank you.
Thank you.